back to why it's even happening. When you understand why, you will know the spiritual meaning so you can learn from this situation. Are you thinking about how long it will last until things get back to normal? By normal, you must mean having all the distractions back in your life again. Is this normal? Is this what you want to return to? If it is, then you haven't used this once in a lifetime event to learn anything. So that's what we're talking about tonight, you guys. We're talking about not what's happening, but why it's happening. There are no accidents. There's never any accidents. So what is the purpose in all this? That's the question. So Ray, who do we have with us tonight? Ray's getting it going. I count on him. He does a great job.
We have Mary Elizabeth. She was the first one in the door.
Mary Elizabeth.
She wins the door prize. Insomniac Nancy Schaefer from Scotland. It was like 3 a.m.
Yes.
Jay Handy. Hi, Jay.
Jay, you know, Jay, I was thinking of you today.
You were, you know.
Were you thinking of Jay today?
I was too. I made a note over there about Jay, so we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And who else is here? Nicole. Ezra D.
Oh,
somebody new. Hi, Nicole. Welcome.
Glad to have you, Nicole. And be sure to let us know what's on your mind regarding tonight's insight. And it's the spiritual meanings of the global separation. Why did it happen? Not what happened, not when is it going to be over, not when we're going to get back to our the old normal. I mean,
if you want that old normal back.
Yeah, if you've had enough time to decompress from the old normal, just really let it go. And everybody's been affected by this. Everybody has had some kind of a setback from what's happened, but then we've also had some really good time out to catch our breath and get a grip on, you know, what's really going on. Why are you here? That type of thing. What is your purpose? What really matters to you? All right? Okay, Ray. So do we have any questions, Ray?
Oh, not yet.
You guys.
We had a comment this morning.
Okay.
A good one.
And did we have anything here, honey?
Nope, I'm taking care of all
that. Okay. Ray's juggling all the plates, you see.
I'm ambidextrous and multitasking all at once.
He has to learn to do that, right? Okay, go ahead, Ray.
Is it time for a comment? Yeah.
Yeah, this is a comment.
I was busy while you were talking, so I didn't.
I know.
I'm sorry, teacher. I wasn't listening while you were talking.
Well, this is a comment that was left on this post today.
Yeah, by Kathy.
About the spiritual meanings of the global separation. Kathy had a really interesting insight.
Here we go. Kathy Cartagena, she said, this experience, the separation, has not changed my life a great deal. It has kept me from seeing my grandbabies and had made grocery shopping a little more inconvenient. But it has given me more spiritual focus and time for self-care that I would not normally have given myself the luxury of taking. I'm loving this opportunity to dial into deeper meditation, enjoying the sun, and taking midday naps. Just like the cats.
Well, Kathy's really taking advantage of this.
Right.
So it's working for her. She's trusting the situation. Go ahead.
And she wraps it up by saying, I hope it never goes back to what everyone else calls normal.
And doesn't that describe it?
Yeah. And Linda Deir, you know Linda Deir, right? She responded, this global separation hasn't changed your life much because your attention was gotten several years ago. That's when a series of personal events happened in your life that you didn't expect and got your attention. Although you could have let it all drag you down, you didn't do that. You woke up. You found your way back to yourself. That allowed you to see the truth in everything happening in and around you. Working your way to the truth agreed with you, even though it was confusing at times. To summarize, you were ready, and that's why your guides can reach you now and why you have a life of ease and not resistance. Oh, and there was another comment underneath. Somebody named Ray Holly commented, said, I agree. A man of many words there.
Yeah, well, that was really well said. And that's a situation where Kathy, and we know Kathy from, when did Kathy
Long
find us?
time.
Kathy's found
Several
us
years ago.
a couple years back. And that's when she really started learning to use the journal, the companion journal to Guided. She read Guided first, found me, and then started working with the journal. Actually, when it was a work in progress, and then started learning how to use Ask the Universal channel to contact her guides. She's come so far. And I don't even know what to say about Kathy, Veronica, Joy, Kim, all kinds of people that have along the way learned about themselves. And in learning about yourself, you're not so scared in this world anymore. And then you can be present. And that's when you bump into these guides, to this intuition that you have, that you just automatically know things. That's why when you're in a creative place, like if you're an artist or a writer or a musician or whatever you do that's creative, that gets you out of, the let's say the old normal, the overthinking, just the stress that we do to ourselves. It sets you free. That's when guidance can sneak in and really give you some good pointers. So when that happens, be ready for it, but it's no good unless you write it down, because it's like having a dream. You forget about it as soon as you get out of bed. So you got to write these things down so you become conscious in your new normal. That's part of what the new normal is all about. It's why the global separation happened, so you could decompress and you could catch up to yourself and start to recall these things, okay? So, hey, Ray, what do we have here? I noticed some things coming up.
Joy joined us. Hello, Joy.
Joy.
And Veronica came, yeah.
And Veronica, you guys. All right. Okay, so, and I'm just going to put a plug in for Veronica and Kathy. They're going to be having an Ask the Universal channel Facebook private group. They're going to be having lessons tomorrow, free lessons for the members. So if you don't belong to Ask the Universal channel group, look in the description of the video at the last paragraph about Ask the Universal channel. Go there and ask to join the group, because it is private. And you could learn to do this from these awesome teachers that Ray and I personally trained to do this the right way. Go ahead, Ray.
I see a lot more new people. Well, Kimberly's here. Kimberly Jen.
Kimberly.
Daniel Jagger.
Great, Kimberly. The kitty cat lady, right?
Yeah.
The great animal videos.
Yes.
We love those.
Yep. Jim Gigo joined. He's new. Jordan Newman.
Jordan. Nice to have you both.
Linda Schwartz is here.
Linda. Nice. Always nice to have you, Linda.
Marianne DeFemia.
Marianne. Okay.
I can hardly read her name on this little tiny screen.
And what we're doing tonight, we're having a discussion with the guides about the spiritual meanings of the global separation. In fact, just to give you guys a little start, we want you guys to come in with your questions and your comments, and the guides will talk to you about it. So don't be afraid. This is a great opportunity to come over here, Ray, okay. to get unbiased look at what's really going on, all right, with this global separation and why it's happening. Okay.
Hello. We come in truth and love. To us, they are both the same. Is separation really about being separate? Or is it about getting your time back in order to reflect upon your own uniqueness? your separateness in the midst of universal connections. Many who disliked the isolation at first are now making many more new connections on social media with people who are just like them. The isolation created the environment for people to reach out beyond their own little world and make these new connections. The people you are meeting, you are not meeting by accident. It's because of the separation that this growing connection can happen.
So it's interesting how they described it from their perspective. The separation has actually allowed you to make better connections than just who's in your geographical environment, okay? So there are people that are more like you, more like-minded, because you're reaching out. The guys always tell me, they tell me, Linda, don't advertise what you do. Put it out there, but don't advertise it. They told me that the people have to find me through word of mouth, through just bumping into me by happenstance. Of course, there are no accidents. And that they have to reach. I can't pursue them. Like any of you, I can't go out and tell you, come to my event or do my this or that. Okay, I can bring it up. I can let you know about it, but you're the one that has to reach for it. All right. In other words, you have to be ready. So it's the same thing when you go out and you reach out and you find new friends, but friends that are more like you. Okay. When you don't just go out to any group and, just because you want to talk to somebody, you go to a group where you feel like it fits you.
These webinars that you're doing once a month, at the last Saturday of the month, these are offshoots of your live speaking events that you were doing here every month in Phoenix, right, where people came in person. And those were also broadcast live too. But it's not just, oh, wow, hey, we're in here now, let's do a webinar. This particular webinar, and I've been with you at all your live events and your webinars, and you're always bouncing ideas off to me about what would people want to hear. I think this one's going to be the best ever because of the stay on the path. And we've talked about this amongst us, the staying on the path. Everybody likes to say, in fact, I put out a little reminder about it today, and it talked about a lot of people say, I'm on a spiritual path. Well, why do you still feel lost?
Why are you still looking?
Why are you still looking?
The whole point to the path, this is called Stay on the Path, the one that's coming up this coming Saturday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. It's a 1-hour webinar. It's $29. It's Stay on the Path. A lot of people don't know if they aren't even sure if they are on the path. The guides are going to talk about all that. Okay, go ahead.
Or if they're on the right path.
Right. Or if they're on the right path. Or if you're on the path, how do you stay on the path? That's the whole point. That's what I help people with. That's why the journal exists. That's why the companion journal to guided exists. It's not just about getting you on the path. It's about you staying on the path. I mean, a lot of people get on the path and then they flop off the path all the time. Happens all the time. One thing happens in their life and oh my God, they're off the path. Yeah.
Well, to me, I was thinking about when we were talking about it, it's kind of like a person driving from New York City to LA. You're driving cross country. There's all different ways you can go to get to Los Angeles. You could take a northern route or a southern route or a straight across route, but all along whichever route you pick, whichever path you are on,
whatever path you pick,
there's all these detours and distractions that you can see along the way. Hey, stop here and see the world's largest, ball of string.
There's adventures and there's lessons and experiences along the way. And what you do, if you're going to go, the destination is the same, but you can go this way or that way to get there. How do you decide which one do you go this way or do you go that way? If it doesn't really matter, which one's the best choice for you right now? What's the path that you should pick that's best for you? How do you know what that is?
How do you know
that Okay, but let me shorten this up because we're getting into a great big ad about the webinar for the weekend. And I want to talk about tonight, all right, what they came to watch. And so basically what this is about, it's about the guides pointing you to how to derive at what is the right path and how to stay on that path and how to check in with yourself so you make sure you're still on the path, okay? The path, by the way, is not always easy. It's not. The path sometimes is challenging, but that's what brings us out. That's how we become more of who we are. So everything that we are asking for, everything that we are trying to attract into our life, that we are the person who can actually live that. I mean, could you imagine some of the things you might ask for? You're not even the person who could live up to that, who would be willing to do everything it takes to have that. That's what really is derived from it, all right? So that's what you're going to learn. You're going to learn, what am I ready for? How much of this path thing, everyone's on a path of some kind. I mean, you can't avoid being on a path. You're on a path. It might be reckless. It might be, you might be going down the path and absolutely clueless about where the heck you're going. That's an uncomfortable ride. Okay, there's no reason to feel so uncomfortable about it. It will feel, you won't have all the answers. You won't know from moment to moment many times what's coming next, but it should be fun. It shouldn't be something you fear. All right, that's what we're going to talk about. All right, okay.
And I think if you're on a path and you're on the right path, it's going to have a component of the separateness in it.
Yeah, it is.
You're going to feel like you're alone sometime on that path.
You will when you. Okay, we're going to get into that on Saturday. I'm not going to go into it anymore.
Okay.
There's a lot that's going to come out of that, and you're going to come out with clarity on it. All right.
It's going to be a lot to get in 1 hour.
Yeah.
Sure is.
Yeah.
Okay. Got some more new people.
And what do we have?
Marie Cloutier from Montreal. Vicky.
Great.
New York. Hi, Vicky.
Great.
Audrey Lucas. Somebody else new. Hi.
So do we have something? No.
Nope.
Okay.
So the separateness thing is a lot more than alone. When you feel separate, you feel that you don't have any connection to the outside, to others, to other people.
You feel cut off.
Yeah, that drifts you into the loneliness part where you think nobody cares about you. And that's not true.
Well, that's right. It's not true. In this particular insight, the guides talked about the pros and the cons, that you really need to weigh the pros and the cons to determine where you are on the scale of learning or not from this global separation opportunity. You see, there's nothing that's happening to you. It's all happening for you. And when you ask yourself, who am I and why am I here? Are you just repeating what everybody else has asked themselves for eons? Or do you really seek those answers? It's this time of separation that you have finally got the opportunity to know the truth. You will have the answers that you never had before from this global separation, from this time out, from this break in your routine, from the end of the old normal. Now, is the old normal coming back?
Let's hope not.
Do you want the old normal to come back? How much of the old normal, now that you've been away from it, now that you've had a timeout from the old normal, how much of it do you really want back? What feels right to you? And even when you do go back to that old normal, you're going to feel yourself go, ooh, it didn't feel like this before.
Right.
Yeah, I don't remember it feeling like this. And how do you track what's going on as you're moving through it? Because you guys are in a historical time in your life right now. What you do is you go to part 3 of my guided journey, and you start documenting in part 3 every day, write down 15 minutes a day, what this new normal is like for you. This is a historical event. This is like no other time in your life. And how do you track what happened a month from now? What was that like? The ones who kept a record, kept track of what was going on as they went through it, is going to have something valuable to share. You want to track your steps, you guys, right now. It's really so important.
A lot of it has to do with how you look at it. Like they said in the insight today, do you feel that you're being controlled by these mandates to stay away 6 feet away from people, stay in your house, don't do that, wear this, wear a mask? Do you feel that you're being controlled by these mandates, or to stay separate, or do you feel that it's actually liberating you and teaching you something? And like you say, once you learn these new things about being separate for weeks at a time, there's a lot of things that you look back at and say, I don't know why I ever did that. I don't know why I ever put up with that routine, that work routine. I like working from home. I'm never going back to work.
Right, that's true, right?
I don't miss driving an hour each way back and forth and just getting stuck in traffic and spending thousands of dollars a year because I have to have a $5 or $6 or $7 cup of coffee on the way into work and another one maybe on the way home. And
well, another thing that you're going to realize from this is Ray's just talking about the logistics of this, not having to deal with all that kind of stuff. But what was I thinking here? What was that thing? How did you bring that up? Ray?
You feel that you're being controlled by these mandates.
Let me
liberated?
Let me stop you there. Okay, so part of you might, in the beginning, be angry at not being able to do what you're used to doing, going out and going where you want to go and go to dinner with your friends and, going out to happy hour or whatever you do, go to the gym. You can't go shopping and feel, like just relax and just go shop. It's not, all that came to a halt in this deal. Okay, so, and what was my thoughts on that? It's just jumping out of my head, but.
Well, they found different ways to do those things,
Okay,
so shopping.
Yeah, but the thing that I'm trying to get across here is that you have to ask yourself why you've been stopped out. Why? It's always about the why. And then you won't be so offended or angry or, pissed off that you can't do the things you used to do, like this, like you want to do it. Okay, don't tell me what to do. That type of feeling, even your kids might be acting that way. That you can overcome that to finally see why this is happening in your life. When you can finally see why it's happening in your life, you are more in the center. You're not over here in the future. You're not there in the past about, the old normal, I want it to return, or the future, what's it going to be like? What do I do? You won't be freaking out about either one. You won't be anticipating, or you won't be depressing. Okay, you won't be either way. You will just be present so that you can finally get to the point where you see what this newness, what this whole episode showed you in your life. And what's really happening. Let's use the news as an example. The news, there's all kinds of, conspiracies about, is it this? And are they doing that? Are they telling us the truth? And what's really going on? And what about the stock market? And, what about, are the banks really sound with all this chaos going on? And, what's a good thing to invest in? Or should I get all my money out? Or should, all this kind of stuff's going on. When you have this center where you let that stuff go, and you quit worrying about the future and the past, and you let yourself be present, and you let it work for you. Just stay in the moment and just be present with this global separation. Instead of feeling victimized by it, let it work for you. And when you do that and you become more and more present, and you write for 15 minutes a day about what's really going on with this new normal that you are noticing for 15 minutes every day in part 3 of my guided journey, the journal writing part of this, and answer those 4 qualifying questions, that's when you will know the truth from the lies, nor know the truth from the exaggerations. You hear all this stuff going on, okay? You will know the truth because, first of all, you will be no longer invested in either one, the future or the past. You won't be invested in any of it. So the truth can begin to come through. You're not in the way of it with your resistance because it's got to be a certain way. All right? So this is really what the whole point to this global separation is, for you guys to finally get into this middle zone, this balance, this center, this present moment. Learn how to do this. Purge the past and the present onto these pages so you can get it out of here onto the pages and be done with it, so you can be present and you can finally breathe in to the moment. In that space, when you hear the news or you hear someone say it, oh, it's this or that, and oh, all this, and on social media, and oh, it's all this, you're going to know the truth. You're going to just know it because you will have done what it takes. It's so simple. Done what it takes just to get out of the way of all that noise and that chaos and that old normal you just stepped out of, okay? The old normal had a hold of you like this, okay? It was pushing you around and making you do stuff. You got to do this. Oh, what if you don't do that? Oh, and all this fright and all this what if, you know? I mean, you were controlled by it, you guys. You've only recently had a break from it. So how well are you using it? Do we have anybody?
No questions
Where are
yet.
your questions? Okay.
Okay, this just triggered me again. I know you don't like to talk about driving across country, but when you write down every day,
yeah,
that's like being on that trip. This is the same thing you do on a trip.
It's true.
When you're going from here to here,
you keep that little journal.
You take pictures.
Yes.
You take notes.
Record your adventure.
Experience new types of food. And you make, oh, this is great.
So maybe you even learn to cook.
Oh yeah.
Oh, now that's a novelty, right? Okay.
So it's not something people don't do naturally. It is something they do naturally. You write down, you document. You write your life story. You do. When you were little, you kept a diary, you know, and you didn't want anybody to read it.
The best part of it is when you can go back and you can review what you wrote.
That's the key.
That's the payoff. That is the payoff. If you aren't taking advantage of writing this stuff down right now, you guys are missing it, okay? Don't miss it. 4 qualifying questions. What's unusual and out of the ordinary? That's the first question. The second question, part 3, is going to ask you is, how did that feel? Not, oh, it felt good. No, how did it really feel? Write the details down about how that felt. And then, when you have that, you know you have a realization that comes through. Once you have that realization, then you can take action. But you can't take action until you have that realization. So it's a 4-step process of realizing yourself, 1 step at a time. You don't even have to work at this. It just shows up, okay? It's easy to do. And it's really sad when you miss the opportunity and you don't keep track of the day-to-day, because you can't go back and remember it. You'll pick it out of context. You won't quite remember it. It'll be something like this or that. When you first write it down, it's precise. That's what you want. Okay. This is about taking your life seriously and getting something out of these experiences, you guys.
If you don't take notes on your journey, how do you expect to find your way back. I mean, even what was it? Hansel and Gretel dropped breadcrumbs so they could find their way back.
There was always a message in these fables,
Mm-hmm.
and all of them, they just weren't haphazardly done. There was a message in them all.
On the other hand, if you're on your path, you're on your journey, and you allow all these roadside distractions to bother you,
to
interrupt your journey, you might never make it to the other side of the country.
Okay, to bother you. Okay, so whatever's bothering you, whatever that is in your way. It's in your way of getting the best out of what's going on right now. If you're letting it hurt you, if you're letting it bother you, if you're letting it upset you, if it's making you mad, write it in your journal that you're going to get it out of here and you're going to put it on the pages, okay? This is your journey. This is how you journeyed through it. This is not the end of this journey, you guys. This is just the beginning of more to come, okay? More to come. Every time I say that, I think it must be someone's name. More to come.
More to come. More to come.
It sounds like
Mordecai, Mordecai. Modicum.
Yeah. So this is all about, we're supposed to have fun in this life, you guys. Don't let this life scare you so much, okay? You came here to live your life. You came here to live this on purpose, deliberately. You came here to do this your way. So what is your way? That takes me to Saturday. Stay on the path. That's what Saturday's webinar is going to be about. Go ahead, Ray.
Teacher, I have a question. Do you think people are happier now than they were before they got it put into quarantine? What's shocked them the most about what they like about being quarantined, being separate, being alone? A lot of people.
Let's let the guides, let's let them say what they see for what they've observed with humanity. You know, they see all of it, you guys. We're in it. You can't really see it all when you're in it. I'm going to say it again. That's why you have to write it down. You can't see it when you're in it, but you can when you look back on it, okay?
You can once you write it down and you hold it out and you look at it. Now you can observe it. It's hard to observe yourself.
It totally is. That's the whole point. So back to the question that they're going to answer is what?
What bothers you? I mean, do you find yourself being bothered by the separateness or not?
Okay, so I'm going to summarize this. How do you see humanity as a whole, generally speaking, dealing with this? Are they dealing with it in a positive way? Are they using it to their benefit, and are they learning from it or not?
In future days, you will hear many more positive stories about the quarantine than negative ones. For many people, this is the first time they've had a break in many decades. Their life had resulted in desperate routine, a routine they hated, a routine they didn't want to go to work on Mondays to experience, a routine that ruined their relationships. Just about everyone they had. These isolationships are
isolationships. Okay.
Will turn out to be the best time many people have had.
Isolationships instead of relationships.
Get to know yourself.
That's an interesting way to put this. Okay, so what they're saying here, what the guys are saying here, you won't all see this in the moment it's happening, but
Right.
you will in hindsight. And how are you going? Can you expect to see it in hindsight? You can't unless you write it down. And even as you write it down and look at it a week from now, a month from now, even 6 months from now, and you look back at it, you'll see that while you were in it, maybe you weren't learning so much, but you learned when you could look back at it, when you could review what you wrote and go, oh man, I am so glad that stopped me, because look at the trajectory I was on. Look at the path I was on. Look at what I was doing to myself. Look at what I was doing to the people around me. I am so glad that showed up and stopped me, got my attention. That's what this is about, you guys. The global separation, this is happening for you. Go ahead, Ray.
Hello, some more new people. Well, let's see who joined us over here. Over here, Kimberly Williams, Tamara Keys.
Great.
She's relatively new.
And
Kevin Sullivan, and an old friend that we haven't seen in a long time, Zeffie. Remember Zeffie?
Zeffie, yes.
Yes.
From Sedona.
Yes.
Oh my God. So you guys, if you have questions around the spiritual meanings of the global separation and why it's happening to you, why is it happening to you?
For you. You just told me
I
it's
know.
not happening to him.
I know, but it feels like it.
It
feels like it's happening to you, and it, you know it will be you know it's happening for you. It's like you know it's happening for you, but you can't put your head around it yet. Right now, it still feels like it's happening to you. So what the heck is this all about?
But a lot of people are having fun. They haven't had this much fun in a long time. That can't be happening to you. That's happening for you.
We do know people that are having fun, and there's some people who are not having so much fun because of their obligations, and they're short on money or whatever. So if you guys have questions around this, we've got like
2 minutes, 10 minutes,
10 more minutes to help you with this, and the guides want to help you with this. This is your opportunity to get that help for you guys individually. So feel free to ask your questions. Don't be shy.
Maybe they could even comment on what they see others' reactions are. I mean, we're not talking about being judgmental of other people's reactions, but how is it different than what you're feeling?
For example?
Well, you may have friends that are, like you say, in trouble because they don't have a job. They were laid off, and they're running out of money, and they can't wait, for everything to come back. There's some of the people who are out there protesting in the cities. Those are huge protests that are going on.
Those are.
Get the country back to work.
Right.
There's no other flu of any kind that ever shut down the world economy.
Okay, so let's let the guides answer that. Great, that's a great question. And here they go.
Well, many of the things you are experiencing feel like a reprieve from your previous existence. Others may have never been out of a job and relying on each paycheck to survive. These people will have help coming, and more help coming, as one side of the government wants to extend their pain and the other wants to bring it to a stop and give them help. This is a situation for everyone that they will tell their grandkids about. It's the baby boomers' depression story you had to listen to from your parents.
So is this going to happen again? Let's ask that. Is this global separation, this whole pandemic, this whole coronavirus, this global shutdown of the economy, is this going to happen again in our lifetimes?
While there are certain elements of society who see using pandemics as a way of control, people have become aware very quickly during this one, and what was real and what was imagined fear.
Good. Because there's a lot, hold on, Ray. There's a lot of imagined fear in this, right? Let's say propaganda.
When a person begins to lose control, they come back with more threats.
What are you saying here? Translation.
The news tonight said that the return of the coronavirus pandemic in the fall will be much worse.
And what do you see?
We don't see that happening.
Why are they saying it?
An agenda that is out of sync with what the world needs.
What does that mean?
The world needs less fear and more trust and love for everyone. A forced lockdown separates everyone from everyone and makes people suspicious of each other.
And
this is not the way the world is going to survive. Only through love and truth will your species make it.
And so what do you see for our species?
It has failed many times before, and you can't allow this to happen now.
And so what do we do as a collective?
You learn by observing. Everything you hear needs not be taken on face value. You need to listen, stop, take a breath, and observe who benefits if that what you just heard is true.
Okay, that's the part where I was talking about the path. Stay on the path. On Saturday, the webinar that I'm going to have for 1 hour, go to my website, lindadeir.com, and you'll go down the page just a little bit to look at the live events, and you'll see the webinar for Saturday. Join the webinar. Sign up for it, because they're really going to get into that. And we've got questions from people that have asked about, are the guides going to talk about this? Or are they going to talk about that? And we're going to incorporate that into the webinar. so the guys can really talk to you candidly, not on a public forum like we have right now. They're going to get really into this. All right.
Okay, Veronica, I have a good question. Many couples are having relationship difficulties being quarantined together. Why?
That's a great question,
That's
Veronica.
what they said. That's a great question.
I know.
Let's see what the guys have to say.
Here they go.
It's a matter of the extra time together. This extra quarantine time and being stuck in the house with each other for weeks allows the people to bring up all the things they have thought were wrong with the other person for all the years they've been together.
So it finally, they're confronting it by the fact that they're with each other all day long, and they finally can zoom in on it. This is a time to heal that. This is a time to find out if you're with the right person.
Right.
Okay. I mean, you guys,
It's a self-reflection.
take this journal, My Guided Journey, companion journal to my best-selling, award-winning autobiography, Guided. All right. Take this journal. This is how I did it. I talk about it in Guided. That's why this came about. So you guys could do this for yourself and manage yourself better. Actually live the life you came here to live. Imagine that. And start tracking your steps. Start telling the truth. If you can't talk to your partner, here's an example of that. If you can't talk to your partner about what's bugging you about the relationship or about them, or that they don't hear what you say, or they're not listening, or they don't seem to care, they're not in this with you like you feel they should be, or whatever the lack is, whatever the problem is, the hang up, the conflict. Take this, quit trying to talk to them. Take the journal and start telling it on the pages, so that when you actually do decide, after you write it down for a week, day after day after day, until you really flesh it out on the pages, when you have written it all out where it makes sense on the pages, now you might actually be able to form a conversation with your significant other that makes some sense. But if you just let it go, bleh, and you just start talking about it and attacking them, and it's not thought out, it's not, you haven't investigated it, you don't understand it yourself. How the heck can you have a good conversation with somebody that you don't even understand? You're already behind the 8 ball. You don't stand a chance to get really anything accomplished. And the whole point to the relationship is to actually have a relationship that's worth having. Okay? That's how you use this. Where are you at? What is going on with you? What's going right with you? What's going wrong with you? What's bugging you? What needs to come out? It needs to start here. All right. I thought in my life, I published Guided when I was 62 years old. I thought by the time I wrote Guided, and published it, I thought I had it all figured out. I really thought I figured out what was going on in my life, and what really, I got to tell you, until I wrote Guided, I'm still amazed at the clarity that comes through, that the insights that come through, the new healing that shows up as a result of getting the ball rolling, writing this book. That's the same equivalent to working with your journal. Same thing. You won't know it until you start writing it down. Okay.
You didn't write that book till you were 62?
No, I didn't publish it.
I
sat down and started writing it when I was 60.
Yeah.
And then one day it just started. I sat down and I just started writing it, and then
there it came out.
And then it took a little while to get the editing done, the book cover done, and all. And so it was a year and a half, and then I had to put it on the back burner because Ray had a project going on that we had to, go after. So chapter 9, I put the book on the back burner, got back to it, I don't know, a year later, and finished writing it in another 2.5 months. It took me 4.5 months total to write the book because it just flew out of me. Okay, in other words, when you start writing in your journal, you guys aren't going to believe it. But it's been waiting for you to be ready to finally purge this stuff so you can get it out of here and stick it on these pages so it's no longer controlling you, and you've got a point of reference to go back to and finally make sense of what's going on with you. Then you can become a better communicator to your mate, okay, to the people that your kids, to the people in your life. You will have a better sense of yourself by far. All right.
And you were 62 when it was published, huh?
And it's 5 years old.
I can't believe you're that old. I don't believe that. I never thought of you that old.
You never.
I mean, I'm older than you are, but
not by much, Ray. By 1 year.
Oh, well, I'm 68, but I'm a young 68. I have the body of a 67-year-old.
Ray loves his jokes. Well, he hopes you love him too.
Yeah, write to me if you want to hear more.
Oh God! See, you guys just enjoy your life. Just let yourself breathe. Let yourself feel good. Let yourself feel good. And where you don't feel good and where you do feel good, write it down. This is historical. You will not remember it later. All right. It's really important. Like the guide said, that you're going to tell your grandkids. This will be the Great Depression of your lifetime. You know, the way your great-grandparents explained it to you.
Yeah,
you know,
all they had to eat was potatoes,
and they had to walk, 22 miles to school in the.
I don't know.
Oh my God!
You say write down the things that you're happy about, write things that you're sad about. It's more important to write down the things you're happy about, because a lot of times you don't pay attention to those. All you do is complain about the things you don't like that are going on.
Well, that's because you've been frustrated and pushed to your limit over and over and over again. You know why? It's been trying to get your attention. Okay.
And you can't heal those things that hurt you until you do write it down.
You see them on the page.
You hold it out here.
Yes.
And you can observe it.
Yes.
Otherwise, they just keep rolling around, like a dryer inside of you.
Yes. You become intellectual about it. That's why this whole project I had a psychiatrist. No, a psychologist. Out of California. Yeah, real famous one. Interviewed me 2 times. And she said, your project is a mix of spirituality and unexpected psychology. I was like, well, that's a new tagline right there. I mean, that totally explains it, So that's what this is, you guys. And when you do this, it's a mix of spirituality, because when you write in your journal, you're going to start to see that automatic writing happen, where guidance comes, it infiltrates your writing when you didn't expect it. Okay, and it's a combination of spirituality because of that, and unexpected psychology, because you've got a handle on this, because you've got it on the pages, you've got it out of here, and you've got it on the pages. Okay, and you've asked yourself those 4 questions, and now you can really get your head around what you need to do, what's going on with you. All right. And when you do that, when you really get a grip on who you are and what's going on with you, your relationship with your guides is an automatic byproduct of that. You can't even stop it. It just is there. It just shows up. Okay. So, we love having you guys. We're going
a lot
to
of new
close.
people tonight.
I know. We love you guys. And we're going to close the session with their closing message, the guide's closing message about tonight's insight, the spiritual meanings of the global separation. But I'm going to announce a few things first. Okay.
Next, a word from our sponsors.
Yes, right. So join us next Tuesday, April 28th. I will be streaming live on my Facebook page, my Facebook timeline, and my YouTube channel. use the search term Linda Deir. And this will be a Q&A and commentary, just like tonight. And next Tuesday's Insight published in Linda's Weekly Guided Insights with me and my spirit guides at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So don't miss it.
What's the name of that one?
In Linda's Weekly Guided Insights, the spirit guides will be talking about trust what you feel to find us.
Ooh.
Why do people have so much difficulty connecting with us and hearing our guidance? We see that it's because of the lifestyle they lead. Always in a hurry, always going somewhere, always seeking something. See, you guys have this time out, this global separation, this quarantine, this shelter in place for a reason. Okay. And this is what they've always seen. The guides have always seen this with us. But until this happened, have we had the opportunity, even the chance, to see it for ourselves? Since the shelter-in-place mandate is in force, causing massive disruptions in your lifestyle, we have an important project for you. I love this. While you are living in your new normal this week, we want you to start being aware of your senses more. Now, I'm not going to tell you what this is, and show up for next Tuesday. They're going to walk you through what those senses are so that you can begin to tap into that and write that down. You guys are really going to get a grip on this, okay? You're going to get this. 2020 is your year to get this. There's no missing it. And if you haven't signed up for Linda's Weekly Guided Insights, go to my website, lindadeir.com, and sign up for it. It's free. It's delivered to your email box every Tuesday. And you can see the link for this in the description of this video if you want to go there. All right. So don't miss our webinar this coming Saturday, April 25th, entitled Stay on the Path, with Linda Deir, Ray Holly, and the guides. In this webinar, my spirit guides will help you find your path. Your guides have been waiting for you to be ready to step on to your path. This path is the only way.
That's right.
So look for the link to watch or look for the link to just go to my website, lindadeir.com. You'll go down to live events. I don't know if I put the right link in there, actually. I'm trying to remember if I
Just
did.
click on live events at the top and it'll take you right there.
Yeah.
lindadeir.com.
That's it.
The world's #1 most popular and most highly engaged website ever in the world for any spiritual writer.
I know.
5 years ago, nobody even knew who you were.
I know, Ray.
I knew who you were.
Well, it has a lot to do with
I knew you were going to make it.
I got to tell you that when you have somebody who believes in you like this, don't let them go, you guys. Okay, so one last message. If my work helps you in your life in any way, tell your friends about what we do on Tuesdays. Tell them to join us and sign up for Linda's Weekly Guided Insights. Get my books, come to my webinars, and leave reviews for my books. I appreciate that. Okay, the guys they're going to close the session about the spiritual meanings of the global separation and your part in it. And here they go.
You can't go out, but you can go in. Going inward offers greater access to your feelings, how you now feel about what's happening. Greater access to your realizations. Write down what you have realized from this whole shelter in place experience. greater access to your plans. What actions are you going to take? What new and different actions you've never tried before when you move into this new normal that's coming. Also, to those couples who are airing out all their hurts on each other while they are alone together in this time. We don't want you to carry those hurts into the future. Many of you need this time together and the tension of what's happening because you are looking for permission for each of you to start your new life.
Starting your new life. Okay, this journal is critical to your process as you move through this once in a lifetime opportunity. Okay, guys, use this to your advantage. Use this whole thing, this global separation, this shelter in place, this new normal you're coming into. Shine up your act. Do the inner work, okay, so that you are primed to move forward and you finally got this thing right. What do we have, Ray?
A lot of new people tonight, more than we've ever had.
You guys are great. Sign up for the webinar on Saturday, lindadeir.com, and live events, and you'll find it there. Sign up.
Sign up for the insights. They're free at the top of every page on lindadeir.com.
Right.
And that'll get you the topic that we talk about on Tuesday nights.
Right, every Tuesday. We're here at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and we love you guys, okay? And the guides love you guys. And you don't be afraid to ask your questions or your comments. I think some of you guys are a little shy, and it's no time to do that. Just feel free to let us know, let the guides know what you want to know, what you need a little help with, like Veronica did. What about the couples who are together and they're finding it difficult to be together all the time, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, Ray and I just, you know, if you read Guided, I will say this. If you read my memoir, Guided, my autobiography, Guided, in part 4, you'll see where I just said to the guides, I said, I'm done doing the picking. I'm not picking my partner anymore. I'm tired of picking the wrong one. Kept picking the wrong one all the time, all right? And I said, if I meet the right one, give me a sign. Well, what do you know?
Part 4, that's my favorite part of the book, where you meet me and live happily ever after.
You guys, it's an amazing story, okay? It's so amazing. I mean, and I've had the guidance all my life, and I've had this connection all my life. When that happened in part 4, I mean, if you haven't read Guided or listened to Guided, I also did it in audiobook format, and I read it myself. You'll get so much out of it, especially when it comes to relationships. Relationships is a big part of Guided. A little heads up, the first 8 chapters are harrowing. Okay, yeah. My childhood was tough, but that's how I learned to have this connection with my guides, you guys. So it didn't go for naught. I learned so much from it. I call it my childhood boot camp because it served me for the rest of my life.
It was a tough one.
Yeah. So we will see you Saturday. And then we'll see you next Tuesday.
And Tuesday.
Yeah.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Yep.
Stay 6 feet away from each other and don't touch your face.
Write in your journal every
Yeah,
day.
write your journal every day because that's
Track your steps. This is golden right now.
the future memories right there.
That's golden right now.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
See you soon.
Good night.